Now, let's stay with that story. Recent attacks on trucks have cost logistics companies millions and interrupted their business operations. In fact, over the past 3 days, more than 10 trucks have been forced off the road, hijacked and torched. That's on different routes. Investigations on these attacks, which appear to be planned, are underway. To give us a clear explanation of how serious these crimes are, we are joined by KDG Logistics Abdool Kamdar. A warm welcome to you and a good afternoon. If we quantify in numbers, how affected are you and your company so far?
So to be honest, it's very difficult to quantify it exactly, but we've had in the last month, one of our trucks burnt down. That cost us 9.5 million in the truck and the cargo. We've also had 2 trucks that were hijacked and all the cargo was taken. So in these incidents alone in the last month, we've probably lost close to 20 million rand. And for a small to medium-sized company, that's a huge loss. But I think, it's very important for us to look at this on different levels. So as a transport operator, our primary responsibility is to move cargo from point A to point B. But really in this, we have to make sure that our drivers are always safe. And that for me is the biggest problem that we face right now, is that in the incidents of the 2 hijackings, the one driver was taken at gunpoint and held at gunpoint for about 5 hours. The other driver was kept in the boot of a car for almost 6 hours. The case of the burnt truck that was near Spaghetti Junction in Durban about 2 weeks ago, that instance, the driver was held by the crowd for about 45 minutes before they torched his truck. In that 45 minutes, he was begging and pleading with them not to burn his truck, because that truck means a lot to him. That's his livelihood. So, our drivers take their work very personally. We have an amazing team, but what they go through in these incidents is really heart-wrenching. The driver, Kusa, who was involved in the truck that got burnt, he's had to go for counseling. He takes his work so personally. He loved that truck. It was an amazing truck. And what these drivers face each day it's unfathomable what they actually go through out on the road. Besides having to face the hazards, the occupational hazards of 15,000 kilometers of driving a month, to actually have to face the dangers of armed men, mobs who have different agendas, blockading the freeway. It's really something that we need to take very seriously as society.
Abdool, let's talk about those drivers. Seemingly there is a personal relationship over and above the professional one that they have with you as a company. In terms of their safety and just the mechanisms within the vehicle itself, what steps have you taken to ensure their safety?
So we get very close to our drivers because we're not a massive company. We've got about 100 drivers in our company, and most of them have been with us for over 10 years. So, you have this close working relationship. We speak every day, and we work very hard to make sure that our fleet is safe. We have amazing uptime. We use the best-in-class global technologies. I've been at the SA Transport Conference for the past 2 days, looking at productivity and efficiency and trying to find the best ways of doing what we do. In fact, I even lecture on the subject in a number of conferences. So when you have things like hijackings and these instances of blockades of the freeways and burning of trucks, these are things that are very, very hard to plan for. So what we do is we liaise with the private security teams. We try and secure certain corridors. We even have rapid response in the case of something happening, because we haven't had rapid response from any of the task teams or any of the police agencies in these instances. In fact, when our last truck was burnt, the police were present when the mob actually put a burning tire into the truck. And so we've had to hire private security companies to do this. We've increased the kinds of digital surveillance we have, the early warning systems. We've improved our driver training around how do we avoid these instances, what do we do in the event of these instances. And the thing is also, we have to, whilst we have to embark on these training initiatives, we also have to keep them somewhat secret from outside of the company, because we don't want the perpetrators of these incidents to actually know what our plans are. So, it's almost like a civil war out there. If you look at this, this could be a scene from the Ukraine.
And the majority of your drivers, Abdool, South African nationals, or it's a mix?
Yes, the majority of our drivers are South African nationals, but in all of these instances, no one stops the driver to check their passport or their ID. These trucks are just torched or they're shot at, so it's all quite random. This is nothing to do with xenophobia or anything like that. This is either some kind of service delivery protest, if it's sporadic and in certain locations. But the fact that the last 3 days of incidents have been in different parts of the country means that it's a more coordinated thing. It's some form of anarchy. And if you take into consideration that 86% of all our goods in our economy travels by road, that's critical infrastructure. So these are actually treasonable acts in my mind. You are affecting the way goods flow through the country.
And just how serious have incidents gotten just in the last while, Abdool? When we talk about just the last 3 days, what have you seen?
Well, it's an escalation. I mean, it's not ending. We had the first incident that happened 3 nights ago, and it was serious enough. But then for it to be repeated, in 2 successive events, it means that they're really serious and coordinated in doing what they do. And it seems like the authorities have no way of dealing with this.
Abdool Kamdar, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. He looks after KDG Logistics. Now,